Hi everybody, my name is Vittorio from the McAfee Cloud Business Unit. And today I want to cover some of the most common, although not well known, cloud security use cases and how you can use a CASB platform like Envision Cloud to address them. First of all, cloud is a new platform, so the security tools and technologies and processes that allowed you to secure your data in the past are not going to work in the cloud, and we're going to see why in a second. So to better understand that, let's spend a day in the life of Maria, who is an account executive, and Sam, who is the developer in the Get It Done Financial, which is a financial service company. So first, let's learn about Maria. Maria is an account executive. She manages named accounts, so is a high-powered woman, very driven. She's very technology savvy. In her private life, she runs a blog for working mother, and she always makes quota. Sam is always up to date with the latest technologies. Only checks in code is 100% unit tested, if for those of you who know what that means. And he never writes code before 10 a.m. in the morning because that's against his religion. So let's look at Maria. So Maria is going on a sales call, and for this financial prospect wants to bring along an advisor that works in a different company. So she logs into Office 365, she takes the documents that contain some customer notes, and she shares it with the partner. And so this document goes from the managed Office 365 instance that the company provides her with to a third party. And she doesn't realize in the process that she's sharing confidential information that she's not supposed to. Later, she gets home and she forgets a laptop in the car. So she uses her personal laptop to check her mail. In the process, she syncs her corporate mail to an unmanaged device, and that data, that email that most likely contains confidential data, is gone forever because there's no way for IT to reach into that personal device. Then the next day, she goes back to work and she updates the record for that customer in Salesforce.com. And in the process, she types some confidential information inside an unstructured field, inside the notes field in the customer record, not realizing that by doing so, she creates a compliance and security problem for IT. Finally, we talk about her being very technology savvy, so she wants to get her job done in a faster way, a more efficient way. So she finds this EasyCast application, which is a companion application to Salesforce.com. She installs it on her mobile phone to simplify her forecast process. And in the process, what happens is that now this confidential information, these contacts go from Salesforce.com to her device, and then from Salesforce.com to this third-party cloud provider. So again, this is a way in which confidential data leaks from the organization, which is not necessarily super intuitive at first glance. And finally, she gets a better offer from a competitor, so she decides to leave the company. And in the process, she's thinking, hey, how about I get a head start there, and I take some of my documents on my spreadsheet and upload them to my personal Dropbox instance. And that's another way that data leaks and exfiltrates from a corporation into the cloud. So to recap, Maria, in most cases, just to get her job done, gets around the security posture and the security systems that the IT has in place by collaborating. Right? We use the cloud to be more efficient and collaborative. In the process, data is exposed to leakage. Then she accessed confidential information from a personal device, and she uses Salesforce.com in an unorthodox way by putting confidential information into notes. And finally, she steals data when she leaves the company. Let's now talk about Sam. So Sam, over the years, created all these accounts across first AWS and then Google and Azure, and now IT doesn't even know where these accounts are, and these credentials can be stolen and used to get access to your IIS instances and steal not only your data, but potentially also your applications and your IP. Secondly, as Sam is under a lot of pressure to build new applications that differentiate its company and allows them to create new digital experiences, he uploads and deploys his applications, sometimes not realizing that the underlying infrastructure is not properly configured for security. So, for example, you may leave an S3 bucket open on AWS or a storage bucket open on Azure, or may leave some ports open that leave the system open to attacks. And these are some of the top configuration settings that developers can get in trouble with, but there are literally hundreds of parameters that may leave the system unsecure. And then finally, once you create this application, SAMS creates this application and deploys them on his IaaS and PaaS infrastructure, this application will create confidential data. They collect some customer information, some partner information, and if the data is not properly secure and encrypted, it also may be susceptible to leaks and attacks. So to recap, SAM is trying to do his job. Is breaking new barriers in terms of technology, developing applications on top of IaaS and PaaS platform, but in the process, it leaves potentially some proliferation of accounts out there that are not managed. It may misconfigure the underlying infrastructure, and finally, his application can leave data exposed to leaks. And as organizations the world over adopt the cloud, we at McAfee, we have some very interesting information by looking at the usage of our cloud security platform by our customers. This is anonymized data that basically tells us that confidential data ends up pretty much where you would expect. So 30–40% of it ends up in collaborative SaaS applications like Office 365, Box, Dropbox, and so on and so forth. Another 25% or so ends up in structured applications like Salesforce.com, Workday, and ServiceNow, applications that you use to run the business. Another 24–25% ends up in IaaS and PaaS platform, and only 10% ends up in problematic shadow IT system. So traditionally, when we talk about cloud security, it was all about shadow IT. People are using shadow IT behind IT's back, and your confidential data ends up in there. But as IT and the business has adopted cloud as a system of record, the majority of the confidential data is going to end up in sanctioned applications. So if you're looking into securing your cloud, this is what we think you should think about in terms of priority. Number one, lock your data, your confidential data inside collaborative applications like Office 365, Dropbox, Box, Slack, and so on and so forth. Then look at your business application like Salesforce.com, then SaaS and PaaS, and I think this will raise in priority because it's growing twice as fast as any other SaaS applications, and then finally shadow IT. So now that we covered what are the top use case for security in the cloud, let's see how by deploying a CASB platform like Envision Cloud, you can protect your data in the cloud so you can adopt the cloud to accelerate your business. So first of all, when you deploy Envision Cloud is just a cloud service that sits side by side with your SaaS and IaaS platforms and integrates through this platform through APIs and reverse proxy in different ways so that you can regain the visibility and control that you need to have the confidence that your data is secure. You need both. You need visibility. You need to know where your data is, which data is confidential, who accesses it, from what device, from what network, from what location. Once you have visibility, fine-grained visibility across all your system, then you can provide control over your data. You cannot control what you don't see. And the advantage of having of deploying Envision Cloud is that it gives you a single point to regain the visibility and provide your security policy. So you don't have to chase every single platform to do so. You set your policies in Envision Cloud, and Envision Cloud deploys and enforces those policies uniformly across SaaS services, IaaS, and shadow IT. So when you deploy Envision Cloud connects to your Office 365 and other collaborative applications through APIs, and immediately scans all your files at rest and looks where your confidential data is. So now that you have you know where your data is, you can, first of all, provide compliance reports. You can detect behavior that is malicious, like a user that logs in from Palo Alto and 5 minutes later logs in from China, and so on and so forth. So regain complete visibility where your data is. So now you have the visibility. When Maria tries to share that document from Office 365 that contains confidential information, Envision Cloud detects that and blocks it in real time. So now we enable Maria to be collaborative and efficient, but if she, by mistake, shares confidential information, we can block it, educate the user that should not be done, and then she can fix the problem and now be able to share the document again. And of course, using the same technology, we can block access from hackers or malicious actors from the outside. When Maria updated Salesforce, putting some confidential information inside the customer nodes, with Envision Cloud, again, connecting through the APIs, very unintrusive. We don't have to install an additional agent on the device. We can scan your entire instance of Salesforce.com and give you a complete compliance report that tells you where your data is and if you have a compliance problem. Now, let's talk about SAM. So in the same way as Envision Cloud connects to a SaaS application, it also connects with your IIS and PaaS platform. And by scanning in real time the configuration of this platform, it makes sure that your security configuration is secure. And this is done in real time. We continuously monitor your configuration, and when we see something that is out of sync, we can notify you, and in many cases, we can actually implement the fix right away so that your application always runs in an environment that is secure, has a secure posture. Secondly, we can monitor what's going on across SaaS, so we give you complete visibility in user behavior analytic for SaaS. The same technology, we use it on IIS. So we can, first of all, identify unmanaged accounts. So as Sam has created all these accounts, we can see them and then bring them under management for IT. And also we can detect those malicious behavior. There's like a developer logging in for 2 different locations, or all of a sudden they're loading a lot of information that usually they don't do. In fact, when we deploy Envision Cloud, we run it for a week or so, and using artificial intelligence, we figure out what is normal behavior for the platform, for users on the platform. And then when we see anomalies, we can tag those so you can take action. And finally, just like we do DLP, data leak prevention on SaaS, we do the same thing on IIS and PaaS. So we can scan your storage, and first of all, make sure that it's encrypted and secure, but also look at the application pattern and see the data that goes in and out, and allow you to see to encrypt data on the way in, on the way out, if you are dealing with confidential information. So to summarize, as you can see from the way we address these use cases, the value of Envision Cloud is a very cloud-centered, cloud-native way of securing the data. It is a cloud services. It integrates with your cloud systems, mostly through APIs, so it's very non-intrusive, frictionless for the user perspective, and it gives you that single point to regain visibility across all your services, and then have a single place to enforce your policies across all of them. And so as you look at securing your journey to the cloud, we strongly encourage you to first embrace a native approach. The approach that got you to where you are today is not going to take you to the cloud, just like the approach that you use for client server didn't get you to the internet. Secondly, it's all about the data, right? Even when we look at applications on IIS and PaaS, it's a mean to an end. We have to figure out where your confidential data is and protect it. Why? Because enterprise data in a digital economy is the most valuable asset that IT protects. And so everything we do in Envision Cloud is about regaining that visibility into the cloud so that you can protect your data and sleep tight. And finally, if you have just started your journey to the cloud, or you feel like some use cases are applicable to you, and I would be really shocked if that's not the case, we strongly encourage you to do an assessment. Engage with us. We can do an assessment, scan your system, and very quickly give you a sense of your exposure, and then give you some prescription of what you can do to protect your data in the cloud. So to learn more, go to McAfee.com/cloud, and we would love to engage with you and help you embrace the cloud to accelerate your business.